Top 10 reasons to play one-page rules. It's simple. It can be a game with one-page rules, and there's a second page with more advanced rules that explain the different shooting and movement abilities. There's also a 15-page rule book and other add-ons as experience increases, so you can make it gradually more complicated as you feel like. But it's generally very easy to learn. I've read the rules for Kill Team twice, still don't know how to play Kill Team. Warcry is a little bit easier, but Grimdark, Future Firefight would be the war game I would introduce to people. If I was going to introduce war games to people, it'd be Grimdark, Future Firefight, because you can learn how to play it in an hour. Like, I still play complicated 3.5 hour long Warhammer 40,000 games, but just Grimdark, Future Firefight is just way easier to play a game in like an hour. You can use Warhammer 40k models. One-page rules is basically just simpler Warhammer. Yeah, so you just take any models from Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Warcry. And most of those armies have a counterpart in one-page rules, right? So this is how I end up with having some kind of Space Lizard versus Ogre mashup, which my ogres no longer look like this. But you will see this on this channel at some point. It's cheaper! It's cheaper Warhammer! So Games Workshop had 3 very successful years since the lockdown, and it looks like that their business strategy is to ramp up box set prices by probably 20%. That is what I am seeing. This is going to be rapidly increasing the prices of box sets. One-page rules, when you go onto their shop, you can buy a big army for €100. My small army of Saurian Star Hosts only cost me say €65, including postage. And with that army, I can get to a 1,000-point army if I add in enhancements. But I probably would buy one more model just to make it more beefy. But under €100, definitely for sure. €100 buy a large army for one-page rules. 3D printing. You can just print your armies. You can buy STL files from one-page rules. They give out free ones, and you can also just print off whatever you like. You can substitute any models you like. You pretty much have the rule set and the army lists, and you can pick anything you like to fulfill that army list. It could be toy soldiers. It could be Lego. I see people using Lego all the time. Using Lego is very popular. The rules are free. Most things are free. The basic things are free, and you can buy extra add-ons to make your life more complicated. Because if there's one thing about wargaming we learned, or game theory, is that human beings we like things to be easy, but we like a bit of difficulty too. So the whole point of creating games is to make our life difficult so we can easily solve a problem and get it to dopamine. That was a pointless rant. Moving on. Activation play mode. Instead of long turn-based games, so it's very similar, obviously, to Kill Team and Warcry. So basically, you just react one after another. I think it makes the game more faster, more fluid, less thinking, less strategic planning, and more reactive tactics, which I personally prefer. It's either shoot or fight, whether it's the skirmish games or the army games. Sure, your units can stay still or do nothing or run, but largely you're going to move and shoot or charge and fight. This means that the game is designed that some models are now going to be much better at hand-to-hand combat, and some models are going to be much better at shooting. So your models can just stay there and shoot, instead of what happens when you're playing Warhammer 40,000. You feel compelled to charge because it's better to charge than to not charge. And if the opponent's nearby, you might as well charge them because you don't want to get charged, which is complicated. Whereas with one-page rules, you can kind of go, oh, well, maybe I can just stand here and shoot at the enemy because they're probably going to charge at the other hand-to-hand combat players first, because that makes more sense. So anyway, yeah, shoot or fight. The community is sound. It's a very, very friendly community. Patreon is the main social media that they use, but there's also the Discord. I like the Discord server the best. Everyone is just so nice, and I can arrange games to fight people from around the world, because that's what we need to do to achieve world peace. All in all, OPR is more creative because you can just buy models from other games, you can play with them, you can create your own armies. There's army list generators, you can mix fantasy and sci-fi. There's less pressure to be polished and professional. It's just nice just to go wild and go crazy. Like, if I've got a bunch of armies and I don't feel like collecting, focusing my attention on one and collecting a huge one, which I do, which is the robots. But I can also buy a few little small armies to play skirmish games, just because if I like one set of models, but I don't necessarily want to buy the whole army, if that makes sense. I can just buy little armies and substitute for the army list. Hopefully all that I just said that made sense. So there you go. That's why I like one-page rules. It's fast, it's fun, it's cheaper. I still respect Warhammer 40,000. I'm still going to be playing those big, long, 3.5 hour long games. And I don't like to complain too much about Games Workshop, because objectively they're doing well and we buy their products because we like them. But if you, like me, recently went, holy shit, I can see where the company is going for the next few years, I will be buying the products once a month. But it's nice having a cheap, simple alternative where I can go, right, I'm getting space lizards to fight Chaos dudes with the Beastmen. I use the Beastmen for chat. Yeah, thank you very much. One-page rules is awesome.